Hi, my name is Caitlin Parker. I'm the owner of One Accord Legal, LLC. I've been an attorney for 10 years. I'm practicing family law exclusively for the last 6. And so I'd like to introduce myself and then also give an overview of the legal process of getting divorced in Colorado. A little bit about me. I am trained in collaborative divorce. I am very passionate about keeping couples out of court. I think that it sets you up for better outcomes, and it also sets you up for co-parenting if you have children, and less conflict is better for everyone involved. When I'm not practicing law, you can usually find me reading a book, hiking or biking with my husband, or I do love local coffee shops as well. And so today I want to give an overview of what the divorce process looks like and give you a couple of options to think about as you move through this decision and this process. So there's a couple of different routes you can take to get divorced. All will end up with a decree of divorce or a decree of dissolution. The first option is you can take a collaborative approach. That is a very specific process, or a lot of my cases take what I call a cooperative approach. It's a little bit less formal, doesn't require the specific agreements that the collaborative process requires, but it follows a similar trajectory. And both of these use a team approach. So each party will have their own attorney to give them legal advice. You will also use a neutral financial expert to help you do all of the financial disclosures. And then you can add other experts like a real estate person if you have a home to sell, or a mortgage individual if you need to consult with somebody to buy a new house, or child experts. And all of these team members work together with the goal of keeping you out of court and negotiating agreements between you and your spouse that work for both of you. The big advantage to these processes is that you are getting really tailored expert advice from each of these individuals that are in their own lane, so to speak. The other big advantage is that you often never have to actually step foot inside of a courtroom. So we can negotiate all of the agreements, get all of the paperwork done, file it at one time, and then the court rules on it and issues the decree of dissolution. The other option is the more traditional form of divorce that you've probably heard about. Frankly, you've probably heard horror stories of the litigation side of things. And so that is filing with the court. All of the courts in Colorado require that you attend mediation before you get to a final hearing. So the vast majority of cases do end up settling at some point in the process. But then you go in front of a judge and you have a contested hearing and witnesses and documents and evidence if you cannot resolve it on your own, and the judge makes the decision. So to give you kind of a high-level overview of what the process looks like, once you file the paperwork for divorce, whether you have negotiated an agreement or you're proceeding down the litigation route, there's a 91-day waiting period before the judge can sign the decree of dissolution. So in some cases, we file all the paperwork, it sits there for 91 days, then the judge signs it. In other cases, if you're going to a contested hearing, I tell clients to anticipate at least 9 to 12 months. If you have complicated business interests or things like that experts are required, it can take much longer. So a year and a half to 2 years, just depending on how complicated the facts are and the property division and things like that. Once you file, you will be also required to do mandatory financial disclosures. I will be honest, most of my clients hate those. It's a pretty extensive list that both parties have to provide to the other, and it's to make sure that each of you know these are the assets, these are the debts, and that it gets split fairly between the two of you. And then as you approach the end of the case, you're going to either be filing a parenting plan that will outline parenting time and how you're handling issues related to the kids, and a separation agreement which divides all of your property, says who gets what, gives deadlines for doing that. Or you will be proceeding to a hearing. You will likely submit all of that information to the judge and say, this is what I'm asking for, and then the judge will issue an order. So that's an overview of the process in divorce. That's obviously the 30,000-foot view. If you have more questions or specific questions about your case, I would be more than happy to have a consultation and talk with you further. Thanks.